Welcome, everybody, to the PHDJ podcast. My name is Mike.
Yes, and this is Joe Bunn.
And we have a movie star special guest with us this week. I'm so excited. This is a special episode number 200. Everybody say hello to movie star Kevin Nichols.
Kevin Nichols in the building.
What's up? I'm pleased and honored to be a part of your 200th episode. This is crazy.
I think you're now the most famous person we've ever had on. We've had you on. And by the way, I should go back and just mention, we didn't play the intro for the webinar, but if you listen to this in podcast form, you will have heard a new intro. We asked Tony T, the one and only Tony T, to just record a one-off.
Cool.
For our 200th episode, because
cool.
Next week. And Tony was very generous to do that for us. And I said, do we have to pay you? And he said, no, just mention my name. So Tony T, if you want drops, DJs, Tony T is the man to do it. Joe, what would you say? He probably does 80% of the industry drops.
Easily.
I hear so many people's mixes, and I go, that's another Tony T. He's so great, so talented. Yeah, just look him up at drophouse.com. So thank you, Tony.
I just gave him another project as well. So he's
voicing
really
in our 200th episode. And Kevin, thank you for being a part of it.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. This was something that was not expected. So,
well, we're going to get to that because I don't know if you expected. I don't know if you expected to be in the movie, but we'll get to that. So, Joe, have you seen and you were correcting me last week. Is it Borat or Borat?
I call it Borat.
It's Borat.
Yeah.
Have you seen it, Joe?
No, so I texted and I told Kevin I refused to watch it, so he sent me the clip this morning.
Okay.
So I've seen
so you
the
didn't
clip.
Watch the whole movie, but okay.
I hate those kind of movies. I don't like any kind of movie where people are made to be embarrassed or feel uncomfortable.
I can see that.
I hate it.
Yeah, and there are definitely moments in that movie where you're cringing.
Hate it. Yep, I don't like that feeling.
My wife and I are watching Borat 2 weeks ago when it first came out, and we get to this one scene and I go, hey, that's Kevin Nichols. And my wife goes, well, I don't want, and then Kevin, I hope you don't mind me saying this.
No, go ahead.
But she goes, who is he? And I go, his son is a famous DJ.
Oh my God.
I go, he's a DJ from Georgia, but his son is famous. But before we even get into the movie, how is Hayden doing?
He's doing good. I want to thank him for letting me have his live stream desk to do this. He got out of school at 2:30 and I was like, hey, I need your desk, move. So he was actually, I'm up in his room. He was going to chill, but he had to run to his mom's. He works for her and he left his laptop charger at her house. Okay. So he had to, so he's doing well though. Senior in high school. He's the drum major for the band. They've only had one football game and then 3 or 4 people on the football team came down with COVID, so they had to nix the next 2 games. But he's doing well. He's doing well. He had an event. First
met him at one of the DJ conferences, probably. Yeah. I want to say he was 13, so would that make
he
sense?
was in middle
5
school.
Years ago?
Middle school.
4 or 5 years ago.
And the kid can mix, and he is animated and entertaining, and but that's not the only reason you're famous. But yeah, that was the first thing that popped into my mind was DJ Flint.
Well, you could the second one is Tarsha's husband, so that's
okay. I could have gone there. Yeah.
That's my second one, but everybody's doing good.
Good, man. We'll talk a little bit about your area and what's happened this year, company-wide or company-wise in terms of cancellations, postponements.
Sure.
Give us the positive or the better part of it. Hopefully, most people have postponed versus cancels. I guess where I'm going.
Yeah, I think I only had 2 cancellations, maybe 3. The rest were all pushed out to next year.
Yeah.
One is going to be an amazing party. They said if we can't have the party we want, we're going to push it out to next year. But they took my 4-3-2-1 date, and I'm like, oh man. But no, it's been good. I mean, we were one of the first states to open back up. I don't know why he's dragging his feet now. He's pushed it out to December 9th, but I digress. I will get past that. But I've been doing a lot of little. I've had parents throwing proms and homecomings at various backyards. I did a prom for 7 kids back in the spring.
Wow, I remember that.
And it was a great time. They had a wonderful time. And then, I just had a homecoming, if you will, at the local country club outside. Everything's outside. So, it's coming back. It's just slower than I would like for it to be.
Yeah, I think we can all agree with that. Well, I mean, listen, man, at least you're working. Like you said,
Exactly.
I got a lot of friends in Georgia. Y'all were one of the first states to open up. So congrats on that.
Yeah, I was telling both of you before we went on air, I just had lunch with Darryl Jacobson, who is a New Jersey guy who moved down, would you say, a little bit north of you, Kevin? He moved down to Cumming, Georgia. And yeah, he was telling me his business is down, obviously, but not nearly as much as his homies up here in Jersey. So
I matter of fact, I talk about you all the time to people, Mike. I'm like, this guy's up in Jersey, they're still shut down. He's well over 600 gigs pushed out, and I guess you're getting by on your good looks. I don't know.
He is damn handsome.
I'm going to need a lot more than that.
I do want to interject, Mike, before we go any further. We are recording this on Tuesday, November 11th, and we're intentionally not talking about politics. So when this comes out on Thursday, just know that we intentionally didn't talk about politics.
Yeah,
I voted last week, so yeah. And Flint, DJ Flint.
You know what, Joe? I guess if we
voted, your son got to vote. Yeah, 18.
Yeah, he's 18 now. He finally got to vote.
If we were going to record this like we usually do on Wednesday, we probably would have said at least something about whether there was a winner or not or whatever. But yeah.
But why ruin the 200th episode?
Why ruin it? Right. Why even talk about it? So the main reason Kevin is on is because you were in this movie. So I'm intrigued to hear the story. Did you... Basically, you were doing this gig, and the TV crews showed up. Did you know they were going to be there in advance? Tell us how this happened.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I will start out with this. The entire event was staged.
Okay.
That was not a real cotillion or a debutante ball. So the story is this.
And P.S., let's start there. I don't know what a debutante ball is. I've never done it. Yeah,
he's from up north, Everybody's a debutante.
It's not a thing. And I might be the only one to admit it, but I'm sure
No, it's a Southern thing. You're right.
It is.
Did somebody just walk into your camera, Kevin, or was that an aberration?
What?
Someone back there?
There's no telling. Hayden's not here. Unless, hold on. Come here.
There is somebody back there. Oh my God!
Yeah, here's the stepson. This
saw somebody. Hey, what's going on? Who's this?
This is Riker. This is DJ Jump On It.
What's
Jump On It? Jump On It.
His last name's Jump, so he's DJ Jump On It.
Okay, I love it. I thought I saw somebody.
What's up,
so what is a debutante ball?
Okay, so a debutante ball is where. Hang on a sec. Bye. He'll just stand right there the whole time. Right. So debutantes are kind of like when girls who are 21 are presented into society. It's a big deal. They wear ball gowns. There's stuff all year long, and I've been connected with what they call bonhommes here in Macon. I do photo booths for one of their events. They always have live bands, so I'm like, whatever. I do their photo booths. It's a lot of fun. I know a lot of the people, so that's what debutantes are. They're just presented into society.
Okay. So do you normally do a gig like this and then they made it up, or this was just completely made up?
I never had. I got a call from a friend that runs the local cotillion, and she said, hey, some people have contacted us and they're going to be doing a documentary on debutante balls.
Oh, okay.
And they wanted me to be the MC. So I was like, sure. So I called the lady from California. We spoke. She was like, this is what we want you to do. Watch this video on YouTube. It kind of gives you an idea of what we're looking for. So I said, okay, well, if we're really going to do this real, let's make it look real. Let's have my son DJ it, and I'll MC it. Now, I have a whole setup just for the Hay House. It's one of our historic homes here, with white columns, and it just really kind of fits in. And they were like, oh, sounds great, sounds great. Well, as we start getting closer, they said, Hayden's not 18, he can't be in the movie. He was a little upset, but we understood. I said, okay, fine. So the day of, I spent all day before freshening everything up, repainting all the columns, making everything look perfect. I show up that day, and they said, oh, we don't need any of that. Now, I was like, okay. Well, as you saw in the clip, they had a 4-foot card table, Joe, with a laptop and a little rotary mixer on it, and that was it. Yeah. And I'm like, what do you got? And they said, well, we may have to move that later, so we didn't want all your stuff to be here and it take longer to break down. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I went and I put on my tux, which I had to actually go buy a tux shirt. I didn't even own one. And
so that was they requested that's what you wore?
Yes, had to wear a tuxedo. And if you notice in the clip, all of the dads are also wearing tuxedos.
Right. Yeah. They wear tails. They wear
they wear tails. I mean, it's formal as it's you know, I've had some people reach out to me and they're like, "Oh man, I would have wore this." No, you're going to wear what they ask you to wear.
Yeah, exactly.
If there's one thing I learned at DJ Collective is do what they ask you to do.
But so still all along, you think this is a documentary?
Definitely.
Movie. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just hanging out, right? I'm playing games on my phone or whatever. Well, the cotillion or the debutantes start showing up, and I'm like, I noticed that they're all coming in. They're giving their cell phones to them. Then I also noticed there's about 15 armed security guards walking around, which I thought was strange, but I'm like, okay. And the whole thing was there was a father and daughter from out of the country that were coming in to do this. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm just sitting around waiting, and then I kept asking, you know, here's the MC in me. Can I get a list of the names so I can look at them? I want to get the pronunciations and all this. Oh, he'll give it to you. Okay, he'll give it to you. I got 1.5 minutes to look over 3 pages of names.
I saw that sheet.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, so I go into the room, and it was me and the camera crew. And that was it. So I do a dry reading of all 3 pages, and I get to the name, and I'm like, Sarah Jessica Parker Drummond and her father, Dr. Philip Drummond III. And I'm like... I'm like, now in my head I was thinking Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince at the time, but I went back later. Philip Drummond was the dad from Different Strokes.
Oh no,
it was Different Strokes.
So
I was like, so then I get to and she's going to Grand Canyon University, majoring in cage maintenance with a minor in electronics and VCR repair. And I actually looked at him and went, "Are y'all yanking me?" And they're like, "No, what are you talking about?" And I go up to, I swear the director was probably about right here on me. And I go, "Really? Uncle Phil? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?" He's like, "Never heard of it." I'm like, "You're in the business? You've never heard Will Smith? Fresh Prince?" Oh, okay, whatever. And the one guy who was kind of setting up all the audio and everything, he went, "Just don't mess with him. He's in his mode." I was like, "Okay, cool. Sorry. Not a problem." So...
because they wanted as straight a read from you as possible.
Exactly. They wanted a good, clean
to the line that you aren't aware of the joke. That's it's important to that scene.
Right. And nobody knew it was a joke. Right. So...
well, you were... It sounds like you were starting to suspect something.
Well, I was like, yeah, something's going on, you know, but... Okay, so then all the attendees came in. So I reread everything as they came in. Well, I find out later there's 2 groups. There's an A group and a B group. So I'm like, all right. When that part was finished, the girl comes up. She goes, "You're done." I was like, okay, cool. And 2 armed security guards walked me out.
Wow.
And I was like...
You didn't stick around for the dance.
No. And that's the thing. The 2 questions I'm asked is, did I get paid? Yes. 2, did I meet him? I was not even in the room when all that was going on. So it's all just a cut and splice scene. Even the dad that's talking, they make him sound like that he's saying, "Hey, the fathers and daughters like Southern girls and whatever else." And then the guy who whispers in his ear $500, that's not even his voice. I know that guy. So anyway, so I remember getting home and I was telling my wife how weird it was. I'm like, this was just a weird experience. And she's like, "Well, you know, that's Hollywood." And I'm like, "Yeah, but come on. I mean, really, something was off." So they had us take an online test of celebrity photos. Do you know this person, this one? And they had Sacha Baron Cohen dressed as Borat. Borat, excuse me. So I'm like, yeah, I recognize him. I never saw the first movie. I still haven't watched this one. I've only got the part that I was in. So, and I found out the other day, like I said, that there were 2 groups. The first group knew who he was. The second group did not. So that second group was the ones that were in the room when that... I wish it was a better dance scene. That just kind of is this gross scene to have me associated with.
Like, you had a clean edit that you sent to me. I'm assuming she like dropped down and showed her hoo-ha based on the reaction.
Not really. She's in her time of the month, and that becomes obvious during the dance scene.
God.
Is that the best way to explain it?
Yeah, if you go back and watch that YouTube clip I sent you, not the cleaned up version I sent you, you will see all that.
I hate these.
Yeah.
And there's also also a comment earlier about how she doesn't shave down there, and at one point it's obvious is.
Oh, wow.
So I mean it's a goof. But so when did you realize? When did you? When is you at any point?
No, I found out when the trailer came out, and the local news station ran an article on it.
Wow.
Now what's funny, because people ask me, did you see
the trailer included a clip of you're not in the trailer, are you?
My voice is, but my face is not. Okay. And so Hayden's mom sent me the link, and she was like, is this that thing Hayden was supposed to go to? And I was like, let me see. And Tarsha and I were at dinner, and so then I started getting the backstory. We watched the news story, and at the table next to us, that girl from the cotillion, her best friend was there. And I was like, have you talked to Karen lately? And she's like, yes, were you there? I'm like, oh yeah, I was there. And something was going down. And so that's when everything started going, coming together. Now, when I was getting ready to leave, they have like a parking area in the back. It's really small. And I got a 6x12 trailer with my pickup truck. So I'm trying to get out, and there's 2 cars parked there running. And so I'm like, well, let me ask him to move. So I go around, knock on the window, and it's these 2 foreign people, and it's a guy and a girl. Now looking back, I'm like, I think that was them. The security guard goes, hey, get away from that car. And I'm like, I'm just asking him to move. He's like, I'll take care of it. I'm like, okay, man, it's on you, whatever. And they back up, and I leave. Well, like I said, I found out when the trailer came out.
That's crazy.
But as soon as that ending of that dance happened, the Hay House staff shut it down, and the film crew was gone in under 10 minutes.
Wow.
They tore everything down, was gone. And apparently they've changed phone numbers. They are not responding to any type of correspondence or anything else.
I would imagine that film crew probably gets good at leaving places.
Oh, I'm sure.
Quickly.
I'm sure a lot of those scenes end with somebody yelling and screaming and telling.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to try something real quick. I was going to try and just share a little segment of the clip here, especially there's like 50 or so people on Facebook. What's up, everybody on Facebook?
What's happening?
Just see if it'll work real quick, but I don't have.
If you're putting up something that's copyrighted, Facebook might dump this video.
They might, but they.
It's my voice.
And by the way, you looked and sounded great.
Thank you. I suppose I should thank Mark for his MC workshops and everything. For
there you go. Yeah,
Mark
why not?
Farrell.
Yeah.
And then Jim Cerrone 2 weeks ago.
Y'all seeing that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's watch a little clip. I don't care about Facebook.
All right.
Can you hear it?
No. Oh. Hey, who's that guy?
There he is. Look at Kevin. See, and this is when I'm like, honey, that's Kevin Nichols.
But y'all can't hear it though.
No,
I cannot.
I can't.
That's all right.
All right. Well,
you saw me, but anyway,
listen, there he was. If you're like Joe and you don't want to watch the movie, the movie is available on Amazon Prime, correct?
Yes.
And do you know where about you come up in the movie?
It's about 30 minutes. Now, that particular clip is on YouTube. If you look up Borat 2 Debutant, it'll pop up.
Oh, cool. So you don't have to sit through the whole movie if you are opposed.
And then I go back and I'm looking online later at, because I mean, my social media, my messages, my my text messages, everything has blown up. I don't know if you know Greg Tish. He's out of Tallahassee. He contacted me that Saturday night, and he used to be a mobile DJ, and he's got a talk radio show. He interviewed me that Monday morning at 8:00.
That's awesome.
It was fresh. So yeah. But like I said, everything was blowing up. So it helped to have that little YouTube link to go, here it is if you want to see it. And then, like I said, I made that cleaned up version because I really don't want to see all that other. Right. Yeah. So,
well, dude, you're definitely famous, at least in our eyes.
Well, I appreciate that.
So that was one of my questions.
Yeah.
You've been spotted by a lot of industry people.
Right.
I knew that. I mean, I went to your page that night to verify that it was you. And there must have been like 4 or 5 people posting on your page. Has it led to more work, though? I mean, it's great to get recognition, but have you gotten calls from people saying, hey, we'd like to book the DJ who was in the Borat movie?
I have not yet, but we had a wedding last Saturday night, and one of the groomsmen was like, weren't you in the Borat movie? I was like, yeah, that was me. And he's like, dude, that's crazy. Oh, my gosh. So, I'm just glad that instead of them making fun of the DJ or MC as they usually do, I was able to go out and portray our industry in a professional manner.
You did a great job, man.
And just, it just made me feel good to know that. And then
you're right, Kevin, and that was out of your hands. I mean, obviously looking good and sounding good was under your control, but like you said, they do a lot of editing and everything else. I don't know if people have seen or heard about the very controversial Rudy Giuliani clip in this.
I did actually see that part.
I questioned the veracity of it because it's so oddly edited together. I don't know what he was aware of and what he wasn't. So anyway, I'm not getting into the weeds on the politics, but I as a member of the industry, I would agree with you. You come away from that movie not having a worse feeling about the DJs than normal.
Right.
I thought you looked good, you sounded good, you were professional, and they didn't try and take a dump on you or anything like that, man.
Which I appreciated.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Good job, man.
Well, guys, thanks so much. Congratulations on 200 episodes. I listen to you guys every time I run. So,
all right.
That's so cool.
Or if I have long drives to gigs.
Mike listens to himself when he runs. So you get that in common.
That's right. I will.
Very strange to me, but
you do what you got to do, right?
Like Foo Fighters and Guns N' Roses, just trying to make it to mile 3, and Mike's out there putting in about 15.
I know.
Anyway, Kevin, thank you for being on, man.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Run and tell everybody in the family hello, and thanks again.
We'll do it. Thank you.
You shared an email with us, Kevin, and did I get it right? You said stay positive and test negative.
Yeah, that's my new saying. Stay positive, test negative.
That's awesome.
I'm going to steal that. So, Kevin,
it's all yours.
Test negative.
Just so you know, I stole it too.
Okay.
Thumbs up.
Take care, guys.
Later.
Thank you.
All right. So, Mike, let's see. I'll let Kevin go. Hold on. There he goes.
Congratulations, Joe.
Well, dude, congratulations to you.
Well, to both of us. Yes, I'm super, super proud.
I'm excited.
I haven't made too much of a big deal about this, but I'm super proud of this.
I am too, man. I remember 100 came and we were kind of like almost poo-pooing it. And then people were like, dude, this is a big deal, guys. Like, not many people make it to 100.
Yeah.
And I think you and I are so accustomed to or attuned to like a Stern, or somebody that's got whatever thousands of episodes. That we just kind of like, well, 100 doesn't sound like a lot. But
I was thinking about it the other day, and this is no knock on anyone because a lot of them are good friends of ours. But think about how many podcasts have started since ours.
I was thinking about that. I was.
And again, I'm not knocking. I'm not going to
me neither.
I'm not going to knock anybody, but I think that just goes to the fact that this isn't easy to do. It's the discipline involved, the creativity of trying to come up with new stuff or rehashing stuff that sounds new every week is not easy. And I think that's why most podcasts do die on the vine, just because people just they're sick and tired of putting in that effort.
I agree, man. We're doing it.
We are
still here.
So I don't know if you saw the news, a little sad news, although I'm sure she's going to be fine. Do you know Kelly Hopper Taylor?
I know the name.
Dallas. I'm sure you met her. She attends. She just put on Facebook the other day that she has tested positive. She's sure that it came from an event. So let's send our love and support and positivity. And I'm sure she's a young woman. She's in great shape. I'm sure.
Good. Feel better. Feel better, Kelly. Or anybody that's got it. Feel better.
And anybody and everybody who's got it. Yeah.
We want to thank a few people.
I think we should.
Yeah, I do too. Let's go. Let's start it out.
So we've had a few sponsors.
Yeah.
Years, and obviously Joe and I have not gotten rich at all from this, but it is nice every once in a while to have some money coming in. And I was trying to remember the earlier. So Disc Jockey News, I don't know if they were a formal sponsor, but John was definitely giving us something for making our videos available.
He was.
Thank you to John. And John's always been a longtime supporter. I know Roland and Evie were sponsors for a while because I remember cutting commercials for them and dropping them in. Besides our current, which we'll talk about in a second, were there any other paid? I don't think so.
I don't think so, Mike. That's what you were asking this morning. I think those were the people, that were really.
Well, if we're forgetting somebody, we apologize. But hey, you're not current anyway, so
But your payment is in arrears.
Yeah. Let's thank Troy. Troy has been a sponsor for the last
DJ Event Planner. Yes,
long, but thank you very much, Troy. I've tried to keep your ads up to date. I refresh them from time to time. Mm-hmm. If you want me to do another refresh, I will soon. But thank you, man. You've been a great sponsor, and it really started organically because Joe and I used to talk about how much we love DJ Event Planner before Troy became an official sponsor. But
both still use it.
We both still love it, and we both still swear by it. And any of our listeners, you'll hear the ad throughout our podcast, but it's not just an ad. Joe and I speak from experience. We love that software, and we highly recommend it.
Users, DJ Event Planner users.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And man, obviously the people that are listening or going to listen. So, everybody from the binge listeners that joined the party late to the OG day one people. I mean, there are definitely lots of DJs in the mobile event space that have heard every single one of these 200. And so for that, we thank you, because there's no way we would do it if nobody was listening. Like,
absolutely,
we like to hear ourselves talk, but not that much.
And I know you and I both said we wish we had more listeners, which is so true.
Yeah.
And I guess our current listeners could help us. If you know of anybody in the industry who doesn't listen, recommend it, share it with them, what have you. But yeah, we are grateful for the people who do, because we get pretty solid numbers, and I think it's great. And I think it's testament when you and I go to a conference and people stop us in the hallways and say, hey, man, and how many times, like you just said, binge listen, people tell us, I drove here for 7 hours and binge listened, and I almost feel bad for them. But it's something super cool.
I love that.
And while we're at it, this whole podcast really began as an offshoot from our workshops. And
True.
So even though we haven't done a workshop in a couple of years, we're always very grateful for those, what was it, about 60 or 70 attendees
easily
who came to our workshops throughout the years.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, especially that first group. You guys had faith in Joe and I, and you ponied up a good chunk of change. And we really didn't have, other than our reputations, we really didn't have anything to tell you that was going to be worth it, and you made it worth it. So
yeah, man. That first workshop in Raleigh. At that time, nobody knew who I was. I was like, I need to partner with somebody that's like famous in the DJ world. And so I called Mike, and that's one thing led to another. And we had the workshop, a few here and then a few in Vegas. And then now it carries on and hopefully forever through this podcast. What else? Let's talk about a couple of the people that talk about some of the, I guess, producers, pseudo producers, contributors. That's a good one. Sorry. Yeah. I of course I got to shout out my guy Richie Stedman. I think he's on here on Facebook watching now. He's the unassuming producer of the show. He whispers Facebook messages in my ear of good ideas, and he's even started a spreadsheet at one point. So thank you, Richie, for that.
And I think it's probably been unspoken, but if either one of us drops dead, we can continue this with Richie.
With Richie as the next host.
He's definitely the future replacement for one. We'll figure out who does. Yeah.
What else? Who else, Mike? Who whispers in your?
Foray has given us a number of ideas.
So that's interesting. They're both in Salt Lake City. Maybe Salt Lake City, or like maybe Mormons or special like podcast. I don't know how to.
They're good idea people.
Maybe they are.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mormons. Anyway, so Rob Foray is always giving us great ideas, and honestly, any of you guys, that comment on the PHDJ podcast discussion group on Facebook, or that under my link when I put up the podcast, or under Mike's link when he puts up the podcast, and you say something, like Mike and I are always looking at that stuff. We're always saving those things in our notes, and we appreciate you, because again, that gives us ammunition to keep doing this. So please comment whenever we do these things.
Always.
Or if we miss something.
And feel free to message us with an idea. I mean, sometimes if we don't think there's a whole show out of it, we do plenty of what we call potpourri shows, where we just go into it with 4 or 5 quick hit ideas. So if you send us something that we don't think, I don't know if we can get 20, 25 minutes out of that, but we might be able to get 5 or 10. And sometimes we bundle a bunch of those together. So,
so a couple more things I just want to point out. So if If you noticed, I changed the logo today. Brand new logo. Just a quick kind of origin story. Mike and I worked on this together. 99 Designs that you guys that are in the DJ's Vault have heard me mention multiple times. If you need a rebrand, I always kind of hated our logo. We just kind of rushed it, and it has headphones on a light bulb, from what I remember. And it was one of those things where, well, first of all. Actually, Mike, do you remember the original? I just remembered something. Do you remember the original?
Yeah, there was one before the light bulb.
There was. I can't find it right now, but it was. Hold on. It was. Oh damn! It had. There's the old one, but not the OG one.
Right.
The old one had a stethoscope around its neck.
Oh right.
And somebody goes
playing off the PhD stuff. That's right.
But they were like, "Do you dumbasses realize that a PhD is a doctor of philosophy?" And we were like, no, we didn't really think that hard about it. We just decided we were doing a podcast. And anyway, long story short, we took the stethoscope off, I guess, at some point.
Went with the headphones and the bulb. And then we have one that we currently use with our 2 headshots in front of that logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this, Joe. I think it's fantastic.
I do too. And anyway, so there were some different font choices thrown around. And then I started thinking about neon, and I've got a bunch of neon signs for the different businesses I have back in my office. I love neon. There's a glass blowing neon shop right around the corner. I've taken multiple pictures there in this kind of graveyard of neon signs they have. And also, I kept coming back to this neon kind of bubble look because of the on-air sign. You know, you always see those on-air signs outside the studio, and I felt like that was kind of that. So anyway, Mike and I kind of went back and forth. And he kept showing Kelly because he was like, she's better at this stuff.
Yeah. My wife graduated from FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology. She's definitely the visual of us. We went with so yeah, I showed her a few and she circled one and she was like, that's definitely the one. So
I like it.
I think next week I'll do the false background with maybe a step and repeat of that.
There we go. Yeah. Well, we're excited about it. Hope you guys dig it. And then Mike, the last thing we wanted to talk about was what?
Our new jingle.
Yes.
Which we will start the show with next week. But I think we wound up getting 7 or 8.
Yep.
I'm
going to try and play it, by the way, so don't announce it yet.
So we're not going to play every single one of them.
No.
I want to thank everybody who did submit.
Thank you.
And I would say that this was a easy decision to make just because I listened to them and I chose in my mind who the winner was. And then I sent them to Joe and I said, Joe, you tell me. And if Joe and I had disagreed, I think at that point we probably would have said, all right, well, you rate your top 3 and I'll rate my top 3. And then we'll do some kind of scoring system. But Joe messaged me and he said, I think it's this one. And it was my choice. So
yeah, it was literally like 8:30 this morning. And I was like, this is the winner, right? And Mike goes, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that tells me it was an anonymous or unanimous, not anonymous.
Unanimous.
It's anonymous right now until we announce the winner.
That's right.
But it was a unanimous decision.
I'm going to try and play this.
Cue it up. Can you play it?
Yeah, I think so. Let's see.
Do we want to say his name? Or does he say his name? No, I don't think he does.
No, but it's on the...
there you go.
There it is.
Yeah. Congratulations, Chris Cruz.
Chris Cruz. Y'all want to hear this?
You, Chris. Let's.
Hey! All right, here we go. Welcome to the PHDJ podcast. Let's go. With your hosts, Mike Walter, owner of Elite Entertainment in New Jersey, and Joe Bunn, owner of Bunn DJ Company in North Carolina. Get ready to learn from 2 mobile DJ industry veterans with over 200 episodes under their belt. It's time for the PHDJ podcast.
And then I like that he gave us this long trail of music.
He did.
That goes on. That beat goes on for about 20 more seconds. So that'll be nice to kind of voice over that,
dude.
With these
Chris Cruz, he killed it.
Chris. Yeah.
Thank you. Here's the outro, real quick.
So, Chris, I'll email you. And you want to do the outro?
Yeah. 1 sec.
Good.
Thanks for listening to the PHDJ podcast with Mike Walter and Joe Bunn. We'll see you on the next episode.
Clean.
And now, as most of our listeners have come to know, just because you hear the outro don't always sign off, because every once in a while I stick an Easter egg in there. Every once in a while. Matter of fact, I remember Joe messaging me a couple of years ago, and you were like, somebody told me there was some talking after and I go, yeah, Joe, go back and listen to it. It was because sometimes Joe and I are bantering before we go on, and there will be some kind of funny
classic. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man. So Chris Cruz, man, thank you. We'll either message.
I'll reach out to you and get a mailing address, because you got some prizes coming to you, swag. And you also have bragging rights.
Total bragging rights, tons of swag on your way.
I'll change that intro for at least a year, probably. So
I love it, man. I like his voice. I love the energy. I love the track, the song. I think it's got like a certain bit of like swag to it. And anyway, he sounds great, man. Thanks, Chris.
Awesome.
I know he's a Vault member as well. So anything else, Mike? This has been awesome.
I think that's it, Joe. I'm just, like I said, I'm really happy. I'm really proud. And it's been a fun 4 years, and I hope we have the energy and the schedule to keep this going, because I enjoy our weekly chats.
Me too, man.
You've become one of my closest industry friends through this process, and and I think we've helped a lot of people. But I also think there's been benefits that you and I have had from this regularity of it. So
no doubt about it, man. I mean, I see you more than I see people I grew up with. So I always know that I can count on seeing you once a week, and I've picked up numerous tips from you, and I feel like I've tossed you a couple along the way. And
definitely have.
And again, like you said, there's definitely hundreds, if not thousands, of DJs across probably the world, dare I say, that have taken away a nugget, hopefully every week. So that's what we intend to keep doing. And thank y'all for listening for 200 episodes.
We'll be back next week with 201.
Let's go. Thanks, everybody.